And looking for Dawn.
Dawn is here.
Hey.
There you are, Dawn. Hey.
And is
And
it
how
Anna or
about
Anna?
Anna? There's Anna. Oh, Anna.
Hi,
Yeah.
Megan.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, it's 3:30. Should we get started?
Yep, you can get started.
Okay. Well, Dawn, Cameron, and Anna. So just to give you guys a little background, Cameron is on the Red Sign team, and he is the Director of Operations / Marketing. Cameron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate probably 7 years now, and joined being director of ops, but it was just one other agent, and got going and took over marketing again here right at the beginning of the year when my marketer decided to leave for a new job.
He's so humble. They have an amazing operation over there. You're about to see some cool stuff he's done. Dawn, tell us about you. And Dawn and Anna work on the same team. So Dawn is the DOO and Anna is her virtual assistant. So tell us about you guys.
Yeah, so I joined the Tom Hall group here in Oklahoma City back when it was just Tom Hall about a little over 5 years ago. And our team has grown and shrunk and grown and shrunk a little more. So it is now currently, we have Tom, and then he's our rainmaker and our main listing agent, and then we have a buyer's agent as well. And then I'm the director of operations, and Anna is our virtual assistant. Anna's been with us just over a year.
That's right. And yeah, I've been with Tom Hall Group for over a year now, a little over a year. And my background, I can resonate with Cameron. I'm a marketing graduate and spent my corporate life as a training and quality manager before I decided to work from home and provide service offshore.
And just a little heads up, Anna is in the Philippines.
That's correct.
Yeah. What time is it there, Anna?
It's 4:32 a.m. But I've lived this time zone for 15 years already. So.
Well, thank you for joining us at 4:30 in the morning.
She works 8 to 5 just like I do, but 8 to 5 Central Standard Time hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Anna, you're a rock star. Okay, so let's get started. I asked these two guys today because you guys have incredible newsletters and wildly different approaches. So I think that's great because, sometimes we talk about newsletters and we think there's like one right way, and there's not. There's like 100 right ways. So let's talk a little bit about that. Panel, tell us about the goals you have when you put together your newsletter.
I'll go first. My goal is to be interesting. Like if I got the email, I would be happy to actually read it. So I just look for value adding type things and try to be more fun about it than anything.
Dawn and Anna, how about you guys?
Yes, it's the same thing. We would like to, of course, the end goal would be to introduce what Tom Hall Group is all about. But in terms of the newsletter, we'd like for it to be helpful to our audience as well. And yeah, insert a little bit of fun through trivias for the month or some fun tips, depending on when we are sending it out.
Sorry, I'm muted. Sorry about that. How do you guys know that you had a successful newsletter or newsletter campaign? Like, how do you define success?
I think that's kind of hard when you look at it. It's like the overview of the 36 touch, but kind of my goal that I judge if it was an okay newsletter or if people liked it is the unsubscribe rate. If it's interesting, people aren't going to unsubscribe. Or if you send it to people that know you, they probably won't unsubscribe from you. So the cleaner the database, the more interesting the newsletter, the less unsubscribed you get. So that's kind of my metric that I look at.
Say that again, Cameron, like louder for us in the back.
Oh, can you not hear me?
No, it's that good. Like shout
Oh.
it from the rooftop.
I got all worried. I was just on a Zoom call where I couldn't hear someone else, and I was like, oh no, I'm that person now. Yeah, the more, let's see, what did I say? The more interesting and the closer you are with the people, the less unsubscribes you'll get.
And why would that be important?
Because that is really the goal. You can't have a 36 touch without people that are subscribed. Like if you can't send them emails, you lose out on 24 touches. So it's important to stay interesting, and then they end up calling you.
Yeah, that's really insightful, right? Like if you can't market to someone who's unsubscribed. So every time you send something, they have a chance to leave the marketing relationship, and you really want to make sure that you're keeping them engaged. Dawn and Anna, same question. How do you know that you were successful? How do you know you had a successful newsletter campaign?
Yes, today go ahead, Dawn.
So I would totally agree with what Cameron said, as well as we can look and see who's opened it as well. So we can have a percentage rate of who's opened it, because you want people to not only be we don't want them to unsubscribe, but we want to make sure that they're getting it as well and opening it. And the other part is we get feedback from some of the people that get our newsletter. For example, Megan contacted me this week and said, hey, I love your newsletter. You want to be on a panel? But we also get feedback from some of our clients, because in our newsletter, we'll feature some of our listings, and we have Matterport, and they can do the 3D virtual walkthrough. And so we'll have them contact us and say, hey, I saw that property. You know, I've been thinking about listing my property again, and I love that you guys offer that. So we get feedback that way as well.
Yes, and we've only done around 7 newsletters to date, and would like to eventually be able to look back and assess. Right now, we're looking at open rates and measuring it or aligning it with what we say a standard for 2020. And so far with that, as well as the information that Dawn would share with us, like she received feedback or inquiries that is based from the newsletter. So that's so far how we measure it. But hopefully if we get around 12 samples already, we'd be able to really narrow down on the open rate as well as the click rates and what really worked for us.
So have you seen an increase or decrease in open rates since you guys started?
Since we started, our average is at 15%. That is for the general newsletter. But for the targeted email communication that we have, our open rate is currently at, and this is just based on 10 samples, is at 28%. So yeah, it's up and down. It's an average of 15% overall out of the 7 samples of the newsletter that we have.
Got it. I actually have ready, so somebody did ask, can we see these? So I've got ready some examples from both teams, which kind of go nicely into the next couple questions that I have. But before we do that, somebody had a question. Jessica Lowenhup's had a question. What do you suggest for sending? Weekly, bi-weekly? Like how often are you guys sending and why?
So we do a monthly email, and then we're working on transitioning into Command and putting them on the neighborhood drip campaign as well. So 1 month we will create the content, or 1 week they will, and then 2 weeks later they'll get their neighborhood snapshot. So we're only creating 12 emails rather than trying to do more than that.
What's important about that cadence?
I think it's just the consistency. When you constantly get someone in front of your face, you tend to remember them for that thing. And so with us being in someone's inbox 24 times a year, I think that helps. When they think real estate, they think us.
So our newsletter that Anna creates is a monthly newsletter, but we also have BombBomb emails that go out that are predetermined topics. So like, for example, we just had one go out about spring gardening, which it's separate from our newsletter, but it is something that goes out and we track the rates and opens of that as well.
Yeah, I've actually got for you guys, I've got one newsletter and one of the like non-newsletter emails to share, if that's okay, that I just pulled that.
Yeah.
Really good.
So do you do those bi-weekly too? So a monthly newsletter and then 2 weeks later, the BombBomb. So is that how you're doing it too, Dawn?
I'm going to let Anna speak to that because Anna's the one that handles that portion of it.
Yes, for the monthly newsletter, we do that once a month. And for the targeted email communication, like if we have a new listing or there's a price drop, then we do that as per need basis. And for the spring email that Dawn mentioned, it's occasional. It's something that's auto-generated from BombBomb. So it doesn't really have a specific time frame. Sorry about that. My dog.
There are some other questions just before we share. Does anybody have any other questions, like before we look at what they look like? What other questions do you guys have for the panel? I see one on the side, for instance. Is there a specific time you send them, like some time that you're looking to get better open rates, or how do you think about that? Guys, just jump in. This is your time to open questions for the panel before we look at their actual product.
I like to send mine out on Wednesday, and it's purely because of my schedule, because I usually tend to write it and have someone proof it Tuesday, and so then I just schedule it for that morning, and it seems to work fine. I haven't A/B tested it too much. I used to get into that a lot, but this I'm just more looking at my schedule than anything.
Is anybody doing a really successful newsletter in the group here that would like to share, like how often, what their open rate is, anything like that?
Systems you use, any of those things.
Yeah.
We have a really good print one that we do quarterly, but I would love to see somebody's email one because I have not gotten that nailed down yet at all.
Okay, well, Paula, do you want to like read some more things and I'll pull one up and screen share it? Well,
Megan, do you want me to chime in too?
Yeah, please.
I was gonna say we do constant contacts, what we're using right now, and we're trying to do either weekly or bi-weekly, and our open rates range from anywhere from 25 to 35%. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what we have.
That's actually good. So we'd like to also, learn best practice, because I just looked at right now. They say that for real estate, at least the average open rate should be around 19.17. That's as per MailChimp. So you're doing awesome.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just looked at ours. Our last newsletter was awesome. I guess everyone's staying at home looking at their emails, but we got a 63% open rate.
Wow.
That's the best we've ever done, so I blame Corona.
Hey, Zach, can you jump into the questions, because I set something up wrong and I'm having to admit people as they want to come in.
You want me to look at the participants or the questions?
Any questions that anybody has, and share those if they're.
What's some popular systems that you're using to see how many people are opening your email? Was that one just covered?
Yeah, we use MailChimp for ours.
Okay.
Okay,
Another question is, how many people are in the databases of these two that they're sending out?
So with mine, we actually just switched it to try to save money, actually. We were sending it to 30,000 people, literally everyone we had an active email for, and we just switched it to just the sphere of influence of our team, like the agents and past people we've closed, and we sent it to a little over 3,000.
So
big,
I
huge
just
draw.
saw one pop up, and I think that was directed to Anna and I. And we do use BombBomb to send ours out. And so Anna, they were asking like BombBomb how we get our rate. It shows us our open rate, and that's where she pulls the percentages from.
Right,
Mailchimp
and our
will do that
database
too.
right now is currently around 3,900.
Okay, I've got these pulled up, so I'm gonna start, let me just pull this up. We'll start here with Cameron's, because I've got his newsletter, and then for OKC, for Tom Hall, I've got your newsletter plus one extra one. So we'll start
Okay.
with this one here. This is Red Signs. Are you guys seeing
Yep, I see it.
Red Sign Snaps? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we go. So you can see some personality coming out as you look down here. And if you guys want to put Paula, how do you want to handle this? Like if they put their email in the chat box, we can like forward these to them?
Actually, I have a link that will.
Oh, great. Oh, that'd be
paste
great.
it right in there, so people can pull it up too.
So, okay, of course, these are, just keep in mind as you're looking at these samples, these are really different markets. So you're going to see two really different approaches as well. So here is his nerd stats, and this was sent out a little while ago. So what has COVID-19 done to housing? And if he's going to share that link, I won't we're not going to read the whole thing, but you can see he's got some bullet points here. He's got some graphs in here. You know, the language is the tone is incredibly important, right? Because we don't know the future. We can only go off the stats we have. March was a great month for real estate. The inventory of homes for sale puts us in a seller's market. We don't know what people's reaction will be. More people might want to move for work with job losses. He's got a link, and working from home, only time will tell. So this is very informative. He's got a lot of statistics here. And then he goes into how are we selling things now? And I'll let you take a look at that. And of course, his app. Talk to us a little bit, Cameron, while people are glancing over this and reading that. You know, how do you select, like, how do you decide what to talk about, select or curate your content, and then how do you bring personality to it?
Thanks for giving it personality. My English teachers would be very happy with that because I was very bad at that all through high school. So thanks for that. Finding content, I subscribe to a bunch of random things that I think could be interesting, or I'll jump on local news sites and try to find anything that they're doing. One of the best ones that I'm subscribed to is Keeping Current Matters. If you're not subscribed to that, you should. Every single day they send you emails. This graph that you're looking at right now is directly from that. I just branded it Us. So they send things out interesting like that we try to snag, or like, but then I try to take it and make it a little more Utah, because everything they do is national. So I try to dive into what it actually means for Utah, because that's what people care about, is something a little more local, a little more true to them. And so it's kind of like over the month I'm collecting things. I use Asana to organize myself, and I have like a checklist of things, and I just add links in there of different things and kind of put it all together one day with whatever is interesting to me. And I kind of try to make it available to everyone, like in the disc, right? I kind of skip over the Ds, because I figure if you're a D personality, you're probably not looking at my email anyway. But we try to do something funny. We always add like a meme or a little graphic up top that's funny to get that I personality out. Try to stay consistent and do it the same look and feel for those S's, and then dive into to stats and things that the C personalities would really like. So it's kind of something for everyone except for the D personalities, but you don't get them anyway.
So Rachel had a question that maybe you can talk about, Cameron. Does anyone focus on infographics more than newsletters? We are currently creating an infographic to show monthly market snaps, and it has less content, more visuals. Want to know if people think that's more or less effective.
So my very favorite email that I get is called Visual Capitalist, and it is just infographics. It is the most interesting thing ever. Maybe it's just me and my nerd that comes out in that, but I literally click on it every single day. There is something that I want to see, and it is just the infographics. So I love it if you're doing that. I'm very visual though.
Yeah.
And you
So
guys
we
are
have a-
welcome to speak up. Does anybody else have any feedback on that?
Ask Cameron questions. This is like your, like, and again, we're going to look at, this is one really different way, like Dawn's way, you'll see in a second, looks incredibly different than this. But I think is interesting what you said, Cameron, like there's something for everyone. And you mentioned like it looks the same. Like there's some key things you keep consistent for the S's, right? Like they find comfort in seeing like, this is our, the red sign snaps, you know, the local real estate news for the average Joe. Like that's really a thoughtful way to think about it. And then you put a picture there for the high eyes. Like there's some real intention on the way that this is designed.
And to be honest, we stole this design from Robinhood. You guys don't have that app. They do a daily snapshot of the financial markets. And this is exactly what theirs looks like, except for it's green.
Other questions for Cameron? We want to look at Dawn's. I'll just pause a minute so you guys can ask.
I
your
did put the link to ours in the chat so they can actually access it that way as well.
Thank you. That's so much better. So you guys can scroll without me having to try and scroll for you. That's perfect.
Melissa was asking about the app, and I think she's talking about the Robinhood app.
Oh yeah, Robinhood. It is awesome. If you want to buy some stocks, definitely get it. I feel like I should put my link because if someone else shares it with you, you get a free stock.
You should put it in there.
You should put it in there.
Okay. Okay, I'll get it. I'll put it in the snap or in the chat box. Look it
So
up
I
for
am
you
going to
guys.
go ahead and share, even though you sent your link, I'm going to share one
Wait a
here.
minute. And wait a minute, just for a second, Megan. Somebody asked Cameron, why did you switch from going to 30,000 people to 3,000?
So there was really two thoughts. Is we weren't getting a lot of engagement, opens, response really at all because people didn't really know who we were. They clicked on our website one time, registered, and we had their email, so we would blast out to them. And then we were looking at ways that we could cut our costs in the shift, and I realized that we were spending like $100 or something a month on email, that if we went just to our SOI, we could change. And we went from having like a 10% open rate or something to now, like I said, like the 63% open rate. So engagement's way better. It ended up just working out nicely, but we'll probably ramp back up as things move on because it's working. So it's might as well ramp up more.
Do this one. Okay, can you guys see this? The We Are Here For You plus hashtag stay at home ideas.
Yep.
Yep.
In that. Okay. So this is, again, this is going to look incredibly different in a completely different market, a completely different personality. So here we've got the Tom Hall groups, and this is one of the ones I particularly liked, so I pulled it. But we start, you know, and notice this is not just like an infographic, like this is play a video. We've got something for everyone here. We've got, here's the spiritual meaning of the month, April. Let's recharge. How you doing? If you need help, call us or text us. Live updates for Oklahoma. I Heart Living Room Concert for America. Click here. Netflix party. How to Netflix party here. for some good news. John, I can never say his last name, some good news YouTube channel, Kronicki, I think, I don't know. Then helpful things, right? Like, is your employment or income impacted by COVID-19? Here's what you can do if your loan is owned by Fannie or Freddie Mac. Some more resources. How we market our listings. How much is my house worth? iCare Department of Veterans Affairs, forbearance requests, late charge waivers, credit and VA reporting. Now finding your dream home. We've got another little video here. And then, of course, KW app promotion. We've got KW Home Buying OKC Tom Hall 30-second video. I want to find my dream home. Tips on quarantine and staying home, working safely. We got a Steve Jobs clip in here. Book recommendation with a little thing from Tom. I mean, who knows if Tom said that? Maybe Anna wrote that. I don't know. But
no, that's actually from Tom. We have a book club group on Facebook, and so people post like the books that they're reading for the month or whatever, and then post like what they got from that book and things like that. So that one actually is from Tom. Other than that, probably not much in the newsletter is from Tom.
But you can see here, now we're switching to 3D Matterport. What is that? Here's how we're gonna do a virtual open house. Like, this is our market of the moment, right? Here's some 3D tours for open houses just listed. Man, this newsletter is lengthy, but you can see very different, incredibly dynamic, a very different approach. Tell us about it, ladies.
Okay. So yes, for our newsletter, what we already actually have a template. So there should be our introduction, there should be some tips and book recommendations. However, and what we do is that I start doing my research on the second week of the month for the next month, so that on the third and fourth week, I can put it together, create the contents, and eventually put it all together. So my target is to release that on the last working day of the previous month. However, come March, we had an issue, a global issue, and we had to create contents that are more timely and what we feel we need, and hopefully what other people or our audience would also need. And yeah, so for the information there are a lot of stuff that came from Tom, wherein he would send me out links that he feels would be helpful to others, like the information on Fannie and Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So that's very helpful. And for other stuff there, we started with the home quarantine, and everyone was adjusting, and that is also the overall sound of our daily meetings. So how are we doing at home? How are we surviving? And I also create our contents in our social media sites. So give it a follow, everyone. And what we do is, tweak it a little, because those are a bit more timely right now. And tweak it a little and then include it in our newsletter. And yes, as you mentioned, it's a bit lengthy because Tom would really want us to promote his expertise, and that is to do virtual and remote home buying and listing. So what we do, since there's a lot of information that we'd like to communicate, is to make it more visual. And if they're interested, they can click on whatever link. If they want to see iHeart living room concert, they could just go ahead and click it. If they wanted to try Netflix and chill remotely, they could actually just go ahead and click the link in the newsletter.
So I have some questions here. One says, do these go to a blog on your website or direct to the resource?
The links go direct to the resource.
Okay. And then next question, I love that this is so graphic intensive. People don't read, but they look at pictures. I know things are changing daily, hourly, such as the new PPP changes. Who is taking the time to vet all these resources?
So the links should take them directly to that site. Anna vets the stuff, as she said, you know, a week or two before the newsletter actually goes out. But if the sites are updated as things are changing, when they click on that link, it's going to take them to that site. So it's going to take them to the most recent information.
Especially on for this newsletter around this time. That was the last week of March before we are about to roll that out, and a lot of people are worried. And actually, Tom's mood at that time was he also wants to focus on the good stuff. He just wants to refocus. Yes, we are taking whatever is happening seriously, but he'd like to refocus on what can we control as of the moment and what are the options that are open for us still in spite of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
I did see one of the questions in there was someone asked, did we think it was helpful to share more local or national news on the newsletter, and do we skew towards one or the other? This particular newsletter, there was a little bit of both. There was local and national because of the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and the VA link and things like that. There was a little bit of both. I would dare say if we skewed one way or the other, we probably would do a little more local than national because of our local market. But our newsletter does go out to past clients that have moved out of the market that still like to keep up with what we're doing as well.
Great question. Does anybody else have any more questions? Megan got kicked off of our Zoom call,
no.
but I'm sure she'll be joining here shortly. Does anybody have any?
I did see that somebody asked for us to post the link. If you scroll back through, I posted the link in the chat. So it is in there.
I hopped on later. What is the percentage of readership or how many people are opening these and clicking links? Are y'all tracking that?
Yes, we are tracking it because in BombBomb, it's already given. There is a tracking system wherein we can see our open rates. And for our newsletters, it's currently at 15%. So we're still a work in progress. We'd like to be able to have at least around 12 data points that we can look back on and study which is more effective. Right now, what we post is currently what's we feel is happening, and just some helpful tips in between those forms that we'd like for them to click, hopefully to sign up if they want to buy a house or if they are selling their homes. So it's more of right now brand awareness. And we hope to eventually, and this is what Tom has always been saying, we hope to eventually be able to convert or attract leads through our newsletters as one of the mediums.
And Anna, how many are you sending out?
Around 3,900, and those are just within Tom's contacts.
Do you find that there's, like when you're sending to such a large group, how many unsubscribe each time would you say? Or are there certain topics that you, so on ours, we have noticed that it's almost like certain things might trigger an unsubscribe. I don't know if it's just coincidence or like, what's your unsubscribe rate? Or do you have any of them go like, who is this? And somehow, I mean, you know, say, I never signed up to receive these, or how are you tracking that?
Yes, for the unsubscribe rates, because the contacts that we have in BombBomb already filters out those who doesn't want to be communicated. So this is just really targeted to those that are contacts of Tom in his Gmail. So right now for the 7 newsletters that we've sent out, we haven't heard, I don't know, Dawn can help me validate this, but haven't received any feedback saying that why are you sending me this? We did not subscribe for this newsletter.
Yeah, we haven't gotten any so far.
Hey, Cameron, you've been doing this longer, although I don't know, you haven't been doing the 3,000 very long, so you probably can't answer that really well.
So we
either.
used to get a lot of people that would tell us like, hey, why are you sending me this? And we even changed providers a couple of times, so we'd resubscribe people and that would make people mad. But yeah, we used to have like a 2 or 3% would unsubscribe because they were just random emails that we had. But now we're 0.7% unsubscribe in our last 2 newsletters.
And then I have a question, and this is to the whole group. Is anyone using Command for newsletters?
We are not. We have not fully switched over to Command. And to be honest, more than likely, we probably will not get rid of BombBomb because we do so much through BombBomb. And like part of my transaction processing, I have automations through BombBomb and stuff as well. So I highly doubt that we switch for our newsletter.
Anybody else in the group?
We use MailChimp for our newsletters, and it integrates with Command such that when we get a new contact, it automatically adds it to our MailChimp list, but we don't actually use them for design and sending.
I would love to talk to you more about integrating MailChimp and Command, because that's what our goal is, because we use MailChimp and I love it, but I would love to integrate it. Sorry, hi.
Yeah, it's super easy. You just add, we can talk about it outside if you'd like to, but you just add rules and it's easier than you think. So I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
My clients just communicating outside is like my dream come true. All I ever wanted in the whole world. I would love to share you guys one of the other ones. I'm sorry, I got like kicked off or something. I turned into a pumpkin at 4, so I'm back. But I would love to screen share another one that Dawn, you guys sent out. That was like not your newsletter, like a separate one. So people could see. This one specifically addressed how you guys were taking things virtual. And it was just incredibly well done. So let me pull that one up so everyone can see. Virtual listings, here we go. Because this is, of course, what everyone is on everyone's mind, right?
Yeah.
The virtual listing appointment. So this was really great. Right off the bat, click here to schedule your one-on-one listing appointment with us. Virtual listing appointment. Or on Facebook. So talk to us about this like special send, this non-newsletter one that you sent that was for the virtual process.
So when things started happening and we realized that everything was going to switch to being virtual, Tom wanted to send out something to let everybody know, hey, we have our own Matterport camera. We've been doing Matterport on all of our listings for 2 years now. So it is not new for us. All of our listings have a virtual 3D walkthrough tour. And so Tom wanted to make sure that we got all of that out there and let them know, hey, this is not new to us. This is what the consultation would be virtual. So he wanted to have that set up to where they could just click and schedule appointments.
Yeah, great. Anybody have questions on like this sort of one-off, not newsletter, but one-off email, which you guys actually do? I mean, I get emails from you guys pretty regularly. Like you do a lot of these one-offs. So any questions on how they think about this and how they're putting this together?
Okay. For this one, because yeah, when everything started happening, the Matterport, we've always had that. But in terms of listing appointments, Tom would normally, set up a meeting, as well as Tim, our buyer agent, they would usually set up a meeting. But because of social distancing, our battle cry is to not stop but adapt. So maybe you'll find that on our next newsletter. And so we had to find and research for ways that would allow us to do that. So with the two apps that we have, like Calendly and Zoom, they can just click on that and check on our available schedule. And if any of those matches theirs, that would be all they need to do is just click on that, and automatically they will be sent a Zoom link for that schedule, as well as with Facebook. So you can set up your available time to do meetings in Facebook. So we just took advantage of whatever it is that's out there that could help us in going through listing and buyer consultations, even with social distancing. And we felt that this is something that we need to send out right away. I see a question. Did anyone click and schedule an appointment from it? This was just sent, I believe, around 2 weeks ago so far. The showings that they have is still, personal, but hopefully, as we continue to communicate that this is here, that we offer this, eventually, would have more, what do you call this? We'd have more meetings or listing appointments and buying consultations through our appointment app.
I will say that what we're seeing in our market right now is we have a lot of buyers wanting to buy. We have a lot of sellers not wanting to list right now. And so that's kind of what we're battling right now. We've got, I think we're showing 7 or 8 different buyers right now, and inventory is low. We do have 2 listings that we're taking within the next couple of weeks, but those were not through click-through appointments. Those were actually through phone calls.
Sounds like a shifting market, and that is when it becomes so important to go find listings however you can. So this is just one more tool in your tool belt for bringing listings to the team.
Right, and as you can see that there's still options. So we understand that maybe not everyone yet is into virtual, but we just have it out there that this is an option available to our clients. But at the end of the newsletter, you can see that at any time they can just feel free to always call us.
Well, let's take I think let's take a couple questions for anyone on the panel, and then
Or Megan,
anyone,
if anybody would like to share their newsletter,
yes, and then if
I'd love that too.
Yeah, me too. And I told my clients, if you wanted to bring one to brag, bring one to brag, and if you wanted to bring one for the panelists to give you some feedback on, that our panelists would do that. Surprise, panelists! Here you are. So if anyone wants to take control of the screen, I'm going to stop sharing. And feel free.
I don't have a newsletter, but if you want me to pull up our intro email, I'm happy to. It's through MailChimp, but I mean, if you guys have newsletters, we're really not. I used to be so much better at all of this. Sorry, we have this little noisemaker. But I'm happy to pull up our stuff if you want to just look at what it looks like.
If you want feedback, you've got the floor. Anybody who would like to be brave and get some input from our panelists, take the floor. This is your moment.
Megan and Paul, I also think this is a great opportunity. If you guys are enjoying these and you're getting some great information, also feel free in the chat. You can even send it privately if you want to Megan, Paul, or myself, just some topics you would like to see covered in Mastermind around. So if there's anything that you can think of, outside the box stuff, could be ways that you're communicating with your team, feel free to put those in there, and perhaps we'll do a mastermind around it.
I'm actually working on, it's not a newsletter, but I'm working on an email for a client, like a web event that we're doing. If you guys want to look at it, I can show you that.
Sure.
Anybody's interested? Okay, hold on. Share screen, share. I'll just show you the preview mode on MailChimp because I'm still working with it. So we're doing a photo contest on, and this will be our initial email. And so I'll just scroll down. I've never done this before, so let me know if you want to see something.
Do you post any of these graphics to your social media also?
Yeah, we'll use the same graphics or similar. Like a lot of times, so this shape wouldn't be ideal for Instagram, so we'll do something more of this shape. So I've got all kinds of them ready to go. Hold on, I'll show you this one. So that's more of an Instagram shape.
And what are you using to do this in?
This is Canva.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so yes, those are used in our social media as well, but just probably different shapes. Any feedback?
Have you had any, I mean, are all of your newsletters dark with the inverse, like light background, I mean, light text mostly?
Yes.
Just one, okay.
Mm-hmm. They have been lately. We've kind of been doing a series about positivity. And all of the positivity series have had black backgrounds. So the last few emails that we've sent have. We haven't always done that.
I think my only feedback just from a like readability perspective is I've heard that it's harder for certain age groups to read a dark, like the inverse. But I love it. I think it looks really clean. So I don't know if, that's my only feedback, but I think it looks great.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna mute this. My daughter's show is in the background and I can hear it.
So do you do all your graphics through Canva yourself? You don't, you design all of this is stuff you designed in Canva?
All of it, yeah. So this picture is actually our buyer's agent and her family. This one here was, I think I stole that off of Google, but the rest of it I created in Canva. These logos I stole from Gmail, turned them white instead of black, and deleted the background so I could use them, but the rest of it is in Canva.
So where I get stuck is I'm like too much in the details, and so I love that, like, I think just getting something out and not, like, okay, for you have a blue and a yellow and a red and green, and like it's good, it's different, it's eye-catching. I would be trying to like match all the different colors of red to match. I mean, I get so picky.
Done is better than perfect.
I know. This is really good to see. I mean, I'm not saying that, but like just hearing you go, oh, I just stole this from Google and I did that, like, just keep it simple,
Yeah. In a former life, I was a firefighter, and my lieutenant used to say, "Kiss, keep it simple, stupid."
Yeah, totally.
Which Megan could probably tell you I have a hard time doing in other areas, so I get it.
Yes, also, if you're having a hard time around that area, Belle, I would suggest that you just, put in your content first. Whatever graphics that you come up with, put it together, and then you can start to sit back and critique what you've done. So at least you could just, start putting it all together, and then it would help you go to whatever it is you want for it to show eventually.
That's awesome. And anybody else? I can stop my screen share if anybody wants to share something.
I've got our intro. So what we do is we have what is it called? I'm sorry, it's a campaign, it's an automation. So we have 3 different automation campaigns set up through MailChimp. And whenever we add someone to our MailChimp app, like a new lead or anything, which is what I would love for all this to be integrated. I'm sure it can. We send these intro emails about our team. So I will pull up, we have one kind of geared more towards the Galveston market and one more toward just, you know, general Houston, everything. And then we have a referral partner email. So I'm happy to share that with you. Let's see if I can share that here. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, so this is just, you know, viewing it in our web browser, but so let me see if I can show the subject. So we have Meet Team Bell, your Galveston with the graphic real estate resource. And then when you go in, here's our picture and our logo, and we include all of the cities that we service up there. And then this is a, all my words have left my mind. Anyway, this is where you can link it to some text that connects with your fields, custom fields. So I always personalize this. Like if I met them, you know, hey, great meeting you at Panera today, period. And then this is all standard. You can get to know us better, blah, blah, blah. And so when they go to this form here, click here to get acquainted, that's where they fill like all their information out, you know, name, email, what they're looking for, or they're looking to buy, sell, whatever, that's the form. So then we talk about our referrals and how we have, I'll just make it bigger in case you can't see. So here's a link to our reviews, and then we have some links that make us, you know, look local, more local. We like to highlight our involvement. And then this is a dynamic link for active listings through our HAR app, which here in Texas, HAR is really robust. And so I have conflicting opinions about changing over to the KW app because HAR is just so good. And then we have a featured listing. So I always try to include that. And one thing that we've been running into is like, again, how to kiss it, right? So just updating this. I sent something the other day and I went, oh my gosh, this is an old listing. And then I had to go in and add a new picture because we don't have, like, it's just me, my husband, and an admin. So I find myself a little overwhelmed in getting everything updated, but we changed this to more of a dynamic link. So like, for example, if you click this, it should bring you to my branded, oh, it looks like, oh yeah, so there we go. Oh, I'm lying. It is the Keller Williams website. That's right. I changed it. This is great. So I was testing it out to see, you know, does this get results? So good for me. Yay, KW. Okay, so if we go down, then this is kind of like about us. Now where, after seeing all y'all's stuff, I'm going, we have way too much writing here. Like I've got to make the pictures, you know, I don't know, will people scroll down that far and read all this? I don't know, but this is our intro email, so maybe. So it talks about our team, and then this is a video, which I'm discovering the link is broken. So I'm so glad we have this live session. This is excellent. And then if this just tells about, again, like who we are and what we do, and that's it. So this is our intro. So we have 3 automations. So again, this one, I think the thing I love about it most is that you can have these fields where you can personalize it, and that helps it feel less, you know, just stock, you know, one generic thing. They read it and go, oh, this is actually something they wrote to me. That's it.
Something that I saw right off is that it's very clean and it looks good. So I wouldn't overthink it too much. This looks beautiful. It's just a different style. But one thing I wanted to comment on was all the way up where you were starting to talk about it, keeping it simple with the links in the 2 pictures with the greenery, a little bit down here where it says click here.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity there because it says click here for active listings. You could create a really simple landing page on your command site for your app. And if they clicked there, they would have to put their information in, and then they would download your app for all the active listings.
Oh,
Nailed
okay.
it. Look at that, Kaylee, for the win.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
I'll add one thing for you, Cheryl. One thing that really struck me for Red Sign and Tom Hall's teams were that the content really speaks from the perspective of the consumer. So like, you know, when you got to that part and you're like, this is lengthy about the team, I would say really go back to thinking about, you know, what does the consumer want to talk about, and the consumer wants to talk about them, not you. So you can probably get rid of pretty much all of that. And you could hyperlink it if you wanted to like an actual about page somewhere. But for the most part, the consumer, I mean, it's not personal, so they just don't care. They don't care about, you know.
Right, right.
You could also do, like, if you wanted to include a little about section about the team, I've seen teams do like the little video where they each get like a few, not even a minute, but they each get a, you know, however many seconds just to kind of give a brief description of them. Or if you just wanted to do the team leader, and then you could click, you could put that link within your newsletter. And so if they wanted to learn more about you guys and, you know, what your background is and all that, they can click on that as well.
So I have a question. Do we have a like if I play something, are you guys able to hear it on, if I do my screen share?
Try it.
Does anybody have anything else they want to share before I go here and ask for your 60 seconds of attention?
I was going to mention with regard to having a team page. I don't know if anybody else has set up their command Facebook or command website yet, but their team page that you can put on your command site is pretty nice. So if you did do like a video for each person, or like a meet this person on an email or in a Facebook post, you could hyperlink it to the Meet the Team page on your command site too.
So I feel like I have worked in command enough to kind of mess it up, and every time I'm like, I don't think that this is what I wrote. Like, I don't know if it's me or command, but here's kind of our like team page, right? But I don't remember it looking like this, so I don't know if I did something wrong. But we had this guy do this video, and it's great, but I feel like it never actually got us business. So, I mean, I don't know, right? You don't know if people look at it and go, oh, that's cool, I want to use them. We've never had a builder come to us from looking at this video, and maybe it's that we are not marketing it in the right spot. So if you have a moment, let's see if I can.
And the architect's
Can you hear that? If I
Yeah.
play it? Okay, cool. Let's see if I can make it bigger. I don't know if I can. Oh, cool. There we go. Okay, so this is old. My my baby here is almost 5. See if it works.
I appreciate the craftsmanship in a home, and I understand the architect's vision for a home. And my job is to not only sell that product, but to sell your brand and to be able to convey that to the customer. To help you as a builder, I don't want to create just one-time customers of your properties. I want to create brand evangelists that go out and spread the word about your quality of construction. That's really the builder I'm interested in working with, is someone that is building, really for all intents and purposes, a work of art. And
I want to sell that work of art to someone else that would absolutely appreciate it. I understand the artisan and craftsmanship and quality that go into building a home, and I'll make sure the customer does too.
So I would say that the video is good because it's short and it gets to the point. But my question would be, how are you getting it out in front of the builders?
So we really have never done any sort of focused campaign. I don't know. It's one of our to-dos that we've never done. And also Kevin like hates, you know, you pick apart, oh, I can't believe I said that word or whatever. So I think for him, he hates the video. So I don't know. I mean, do you think that it's worth, like, I mean, do you think it's good enough to present to builders and get the point across? I mean, I don't know.
I would almost use it as like the beginning of a virtual, I guess it wouldn't be a listing presentation.
What that means, 19186. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, that's somebody talking.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's my fault. I unmuted the wrong thing. I'm watching on my computer and my phone. I was going to say, what was I going to say? Oh, I would use it as some kind of like virtual listing presentation almost. Like, I know you're talking about builders, right? So it's not
Kaylee,
exactly the
are you
same.
talking?
Yes.
Okay, I see you say yes. I don't know what's wrong because after
Can you
I
hear
got
me?
out of that, I can't hear anybody, which is great because you're all giving me feedback about my video. So that's helpful.
Can you
Hold
hear me
on, I may
now?
have to just pop out and come back in. Hold on, let's see.
Poor Cheryl.
Technology's great until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for Cheryl to pop back in, did anybody else want to share today? So have you guys gotten everything out of this that you wanted to get out of this?
So on a side note, we are going to do next week, we're doing a first ever flying by the things. And so we do reverse prospecting and send out a bomb email and all that. And so we are going to do, Tom's going to do it through a Zoom meeting. He's going to walk everybody through the Matterport 3D walkthrough. They're going to have to fill out the feedback form in order to register to win prizes. And so we're going to market that to the agents that we have in reverse prospecting, and then we're also going to market it to the agents in our brokerage as well. And so that'll go out in a similar email to what we've done, where it'll go out through a bomb email, and it'll have the link to the Zoom meeting, and it'll have all of our links to our listing as well.
Very cool.
Very cool. I love that creative thinking, which is why
Cheryl is back.
to
Do
do
we
more.
want to give her finish your feedback that you were giving her a few minutes ago before we wrap up?
I'm so sorry.
Did we lose Kaylee?
My bad. Sorry,
There she
guys.
is.
Yes, I was just saying that I would probably, if it was me trying to figure out a way to use that video effectively, for social media, I try to keep videos way down, like 30 seconds. But if it were me, I would use it as some sort of intro, kind of like a listing presentation, but we work with a lot of new construction builders as well. So I know that you don't really have that, but you could incorporate it with BombBomb into your email introduction from the team to your builders. I know it says, let me help, or let us, or let me help you. So probably more of an intro kind of thing, but that's what I was thinking you could use it for.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, and if you mentioned that you want to continue using this, or if you want to continue using this in social media, somebody mentioned earlier about consistency. So that's what's important. You have a very good video there, but what does the rest of your content say? Does it support that header, that video header? So the content should also go around supporting what you have in your header. So number one, that's very important. So consistency is very important. It's a different campaign as well. So that's maybe one thing that eventually we can master on as well. It's Facebook marketing. It's very important nowadays.
So do you guys have local home builders associations there in Houston?
Yes, and my husband was a custom builder before, so he has like all these contacts. We've just really never, I mean, it sounds crazy, but we've never really gone after it.
So if it were me, I would put together an email with the video in there, like Kaylee was talking about, make it an intro email for builders and have that video in there, because it is, I mean, it's 60 seconds. So likely you're going to get somebody, a high D is not going to want to read through an entire email, but they might click on that video and watch a 60-second video. Same thing with the high I. They're going to want to, they're going to want you to interact with them through that video. So I would put together an email campaign with that video in there and send it out to the home builders associations and get yourself in front of them.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I see Megan talking, but she was muted.
I just want to say thank you, Don, Anna, and Cameron, for taking this hour out of your time to come be our panel today. And thanks to everybody who brought their questions and newsletters. Hopefully you found value. Get onto our Facebook community, like Paula was talking about, make some suggestions, or no, sorry, Zachary was talking about, make some suggestions for things you'd like to see in the future so that we can continue to bring you content that you find valuable. Anything, Paula, to add?
Nope, I think you said it all.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.